works quite well. And this actually is a limitation that I implemented. It wasn't there before I bought, and it was something that I wanted to do relatively quickly after I bought the tool sites. And the whole Manwin deal sadly hinted quite a few companies towards the fact that that mobile is so big, because Manwin actually went around and talked to a bunch of people about trying to sell their company. It was not just us that talked to them. And they therefore showed the numbers, and people realized how big their tool traffic's mobile traffic was, and realized that they should finally start building mobile sites because it makes a lot of sense. That I still believe in premium products should be relatively obvious. I did deals like Digital Playground just yesterday, which is clearly a premium product. I also did Twisties, and I didn't only buy pay sites, I actually bought TV channels, which seems weird considering it's the old thing, right? And it's clearly premium, and I did that obviously in the Playboy deal. And that should show that I'm still very, very, very pro the premium side of the business. The Playboy deal actually is one of the hardest one I ever did. It was the longest M&A transaction I was involved in. And I'm not sure if anyone from Playboy is here, so I'm not going to be evil and say evil things, at least not many of them, just a few remarks. And don't get me wrong, but I know all the Playboy people, so usually they understand when I say these things. So the problem that Playboy had was that they had an old team of people, right? They were stuck in their ways for the last 40 years or so. They've grown so much in the last couple of years and never really cleaned up. And they were growing so fast at that point that they couldn't even fix it themselves anymore. So they actually approached myself shortly after I did the Manwin deal and asked me if I wanted to buy their online assets. I told them, look, it's nice and so on, Playboy.com and what you have online, but what I really want is your TV assets, because I think it'll help me expand and reuse my content. So after back and forth, it took a bit, they agreed, and we continued negotiating contract and such. It actually took me almost 2 years from start to finish. 20 months, about that. But it was still a very, very important transaction for me. That's why I actually stuck to it and actually did it. Although it was very, very stressful and much back and forth all the time. They couldn't agree and changed their mind 15 times. But it was very important because of Playboy TV. Because with Playboy TV, because we also got IPTV rights for the whole thing, it gives us a way to get into the door of people like Google, of people like Samsung's Internet TV Group, of people like Netflix. Because we, with browsers or mofos, if we knock on Netflix's door, they just tell us to turn around and leave because they don't want this content, or at least they feel they don't want this content because they're afraid of it. They are not afraid of Playboy. Everybody loves Playboy. It's nice and clean, perfect, lovely. They'll take it. At least they can be convinced to take it and to actually talk to us about it. So it's a nice first step in getting them to do a deal. And later on, I can always start pushing other products into the whole mix. Or at least use some of our content on the Playboy TV brands, then used on these Netflix and so on things. And as a first adopter, getting into these vast growing user bases that they are building right now is going to be very interesting, I think, and that's basically the main reason why I did Playboy TV. We actually have in Canada a team of about 30 people that does nothing else than secondary devices. So they handle optimizing websites for TV, for PlayStation, Xbox. They also do mobile for us, tablets, all that kind of stuff. So anything that's not PC, normal, standard web interface browser, they optimize and build special versions of our products so that we can optimize it for these markets. And it's, as I said, it's 30 people that in Canada do just that. Production. Production is a bit different than obviously the TV or DVD people did it in the days. We focus on online. That's the first thing we think about when we do a production, because obviously a lot of it's consumed online today, so we have to target our content to online. We can always repackage it later and put a few scenes together and make a DVD, or make a TV segment or something like that. But first and foremost, it goes online, and that's where it needs to make money. Anything else that comes later, from putting it on TV, putting it on DVDs, or other things, is an upside that we make more money with. And it just lowers production costs, basically. With Digital Playground, we'll have to find a way to do this with feature films, which is going to be different and complicated and hard, but we've seen in Wicked that it actually does work, and that we want to do something there too, and I think we can get it done. And I think we can get Digital Playground as popular online as they are on DVD and have been on DVD. And therefore, that's kind of the goal that we have right now, is figuring out how to best sell these feature films and move on there. As I said in the past, in the beginning of the speech, a bunch of times in the middle, testing is very important for us. And testing in general, I think, is very important, and testing anything that has to do with what you do is very important, especially on websites, because nobody here should ever imagine that they understand what surfers think when they go to these websites. Testing it is much, much more effective. So we actually test everything down to colors on the pages to see what works better and what doesn't work better. And it's quite interesting to see changes, because it obviously is in waves. It's not like when you do it once and tested it, you know that for the next 2 years it'll work the same way. We continue testing it and making sure that there's no behavioral change because of mainstream sites maybe, or whatever the effect comes from. But we notice that it changes a lot. So we have to continue testing and optimizing the pages and changing them and making sure that they work the way they should, so that sales are as optimal as they can be. So we leave nothing to chance in that way. We try to structure everything, and I think that's another major key to success for any company, is structure that the company has, both company as an entity-wise, but also internally for the employees. So I think the management structure we have globally is one of the reasons why we were so successful in our growth. Because I think at a certain size, if you don't have the right structure in place, it's difficult to focus on actually working what you are supposed to do. You have to always fix holes, or management has to work harder to make sure the structure doesn't fall apart, instead of actually working on the products they are supposed to work on. So in my opinion, if you do want to become big, want to be a company that's 50 to 100 people or so, you should, from the day one, think about structure. Get yourself a consultant to do it. Don't do it with someone that you know online through a friend, or read a website that tells you buy a company in, I don't know, Barbados or whatever. Because I think it's actually the wrong way of doing it. You should ask someone that knows what they are doing. And I actually did learn it the hard way, which is why I had to restructure everything when I did the Mensa deal. Because when I actually started the first time in Europe, I did that. I went to a website, checked what looked nice tax-wise, and picked one of those countries and said, let's do a company there, and I'll put everything there. Obviously, once you get bigger, and once there's certain things that come into play, you have a problem, and you need to somehow fix that, and you find out that that company in that weird country is actually detrimental to some deal you're trying to do because of some tax treaty that 2 other companies have together, and that kills that one. It's very complicated and stupid and annoying, but that's what you have consultants for. So don't pretend that you do it yourself, that you understand it, because likely there's someone better to talk to have it done for you. It's more expensive, but trust me, it's worthwhile, and you don't have to spend the whole thing twice. And setting up new companies again, much more annoying than doing it right from the very beginning. And fixing it was quite annoying for me. Professionals in general, I think very important, but it's very important also that you don't let them dictate your deal terms or your business itself, as in what you do from a structure-wise point and legal-wise and accounting or whatnot. Sure, fine. But your strategy or how you do deals or how you talk to people or why you do deals in a certain way, don't let them butt in and tell you what to do. Because likely, if you've been in this industry for a long time, especially, you know these people better, okay? And you understand how they think, how they react to certain things, and therefore I think it's important that you teach your consultants on the other side then that you actually show them, please do make sure, don't aggravate them with this and this and that, because I know perfectly well he doesn't want to hear that. Or don't tell me that this is too expensive or too cheap, or that it should be different because I know better than you. It takes a bit, but I think like with any relationship, you go together and you learn from each other, and everyone kind of gets along more and finds out why certain things are done the way that one person does it, and others should probably be done a different way. And so find a good one, stick to it, and it'll help you a lot, in my opinion. So, as of this morning, since many people asked me, I checked just to make sure that I have the right number. This includes Digital Playground, by the way. Manwin in total employs 902 people in 6 offices around the world. We have an office in LA, in Montreal, in London, in Hamburg, Cyprus, and in Luxembourg. Nicosia, Cyprus. I think it's Nicosia, Cyprus. On top of all of this, on top of these 902 people, I work with roughly 15 lawyers and their teams from 7 different law firms, and with about 10 or so consultants from Grant Thornton, which is a big consulting company that works worldwide and helps. And basically, that group of people, those lawyers and consultants, are those professionals I was talking about, and they help me with mergers and acquisition deals, with tax planning and structure, with company structure, but they also help me with a few like key top-level company decisions where I need some advice and some ideas and see what the best way is to do certain things, and to make sure basically that I don't fall on my face when I do some deal or whatever. Although we have so many employees, our HR teams have managed to keep Manwin a very friendly place, a very fun place to work at. We have, for example, social clubs. We have a glee club, shockingly enough, which is quite nice actually. It's quite entertaining. We do summer barbecues. We do a Halloween party. We do a Christmas party, and other similar company events all year round. And we also have many training programs that we let people take for free and help them develop their skills in certain areas of the business, or learn new things so they can evolve in the company. Like any big major corporation does it, we do it the same way. My wife is actually also highly involved in social events, and in general makes everyone in Manwin feel like a family. Okay, it makes it a bit nicer to talk to older people a lot, takes them to dinner or to lunch, make sure everyone is happy in general, and does a bit of social things that I'm not so good at, I'll be honest. And we count many of our employees as actually friends, close friends. At the Manwin Canada Christmas dinner, actually, my wife insisted that we invite the whole sales and marketing team, like half or so of the 50 people that I talked about before, to our house to cook for them, because they won a Christmas tree competition in the office where each team had to make a Christmas tree, and they won the best one. So now I have to cook for them, and my wife will hopefully help me. So management structure in Manwin basically came from the Mansep deal, at least the main structure. Because I kept the CEO that was there already then, and he's very, very good, he's very detailed, very organized, and has built a tremendous team below him. And it keeps growing tremendously also, and he keeps making sure it doesn't go out of bounds, and reshuffles it to make sure everything is working right. Manwin in general is split into two parts, by the way. It's, on one side is international, which is basically run from Montreal, which handles all our non-European assets. And then we have a group in Hamburg, which handles Manwin Europe, so-called Manwin Europe. And both groups have a full set of top-level corporate management, so chiefs, as in a CEO, a COO, chief technical officer, a CFO, and they also have vice presidents, presidents, directors, like you would see in any other big company. And we really are as corporate as they get. I mean, if you walk into our office in Montreal or in Hamburg, which are the main two ones, but also in LA, although obviously you know it's Playboy, so you know it's adult. But if you walk into these offices, you wouldn't think that this is an adult company. It looks like a tech company. It's just, if you look at screens of the designers, it's obvious that we do adult work. So, as I said, nothing we do is left to chance. It's all planned. We plan roughly three quarters of the year ahead with a very rough plan, and a more detailed one about one quarter ahead, which we do end of each quarter. So in March, we would plan the next quarter and figure out what we want to do then. And we do it so detailed that we actually have a financial plan and know how much money we expect to make. And our financial team is actually that good that we usually hit it by about 5%. So they have good forecasting, good budgeting, and our teams always stay in the budgets, and this way we control how much they spend and how much they should make, and so on and so on. And this planning ahead, it helps us with M&A deals, acquisitions, but also with obviously bigger deals like buying a lot of content or buying ad spots in bulk for a period of months ahead of time. Because this way we know always how much cash we have available to do these deals. For example, I get a report each day with all our bank account balances and current standings and the projection for the end of week, and then an updated one at the end of week showing why certain targets weren't hit and such. So very, very detailed financial work. And we actually have a rough preview of what we think the next 4 years or so will look like. In essence, Manwin is a tech company, as I said before when I talked about walking around the office. It's a tech company because we are online and we have so big sites and such that we have to be very, very good at the technology side of the whole business. And therefore, we're actually starting this year, most likely, to send a few of our head techs, our CTO, or our top management people from the tech side of the business to standard tech shows, to do conferences, to do speeches, or to talk about certain aspects of our business, because I honestly think that also in our industry, we are so innovative still that everybody is interested in this. They don't really realize how good we monetize traffic, how good we monetize traffic that is actually buying something that is available for free in some shape or form. And I think that's something that people will be interested in, and will be very interested in hearing how we do it, why it works, and such. And our engineers come from major companies. So we have people from Microsoft, we have people from Google, we have people from Ubisoft, for example. And they now work with us, so it seems to be interesting from a tech standpoint. So I'm sure it will be interesting for the tech industry to actually hear what we have to say. In general, I stand by my comment that